So before I go to bed tonight, I got something to share with you. And in the morning, we're going to get started in this video with all of our food prep in a very short amount of time for like a week and a half more likely. So I want to share something. As a hairdresser, I've heard a lot of stories from young and old, and I get to see it lived out again in their faces. They tell it to me in that mirror. It's a beautiful thing. I love that. So Miss Nay, she lived to be 105. At 99, she was still in her yard and had to finally give it up at that age. But amazing. She told me how she would go out into the sauerkraut. They kept it out in the smokehouse, if I believe correctly, when they weren't using it. And she said how she'd get in trouble because she would have dirty hands and get in the sauerkraut and eat it as if it were chocolate today. And how she would just couldn't keep her hands out of it because she liked getting that as a snack, a treat. Maybe it was just because she couldn't have it. Maybe. I don't know. But that makes me think about an old way of preserving foods and how I really want to get to doing those things, having it in a crock and all that stuff. But I need to get to where I can just manage my day-to-day life easier. And I will get to where I can seasonally prepare foods. But in the meantime, let's just see what it looks like with the groceries we bought, getting all that cooked up and stored and prepped, and how we can make it an easier lifestyle when all that's cooked and however long it lasts us, getting to reap the benefits from it, as if back in the day they preserved the foods in season and reap the benefits from them throughout the out of seasons. Come along with us. I really think you'll like this video. You might even learn how to like leftovers. We'll see. I need to get how many meals cooked in how much time? Let's see if we can do this. I am ready because I'm ready to have some things that I enjoy this week get done and not have to stress about what to eat. Who's with me? So Tyler did some prep for me yesterday, and that's what I'm going to work on first. I've had it cooling enough to work with. We bought for about $30 2 huge butts. We wanted to do a beef roast, and we just couldn't justify the cost and size. So look at this massive sucker. I'd say we got a good amount of food for a good size. So our goal is to work towards this all coming off our farm, but we ain't there yet, so we've got to still survive. We like looking at old-fashioned things and utilizing them in today's world. So what would that be with food prep? Today, not that they weren't busy back in the day, but they had to utilize in-season foods. Not that we don't need to do that now. In-season foods and preserving them properly, locally and things like that, are really good. But we also have to come to a point of learning these things and how to do them and survive. So here's one that everybody can utilize.
Is that the meat?
That's the meat, Daddy Prep. You can utilize the fact that you are busy. You need to take a certain amount of time and a lot for prepping everything you can. Oh my goodness, you're talking about leftovers, Sarah Beth? Ugh. No, I'm talking about good food, not expensive, and you can take comfort knowing you did this in your home. So, come along with me. This meat right here will actually go in the freezer. Tyler cooked both of them. It was a 2-pack. He utilized our Instapots. I understand not everybody has multiple Instapots, but if you got a stove, an oven, and possibly a crock pot or Instapot, you can knock out a lot of things with just timing. Now, we have 3 Instapots. We have 2 10-quart ones. This is one of them that Tyler cooked the other big thing of pork roast in. I'm going to skim off, because I've let it cool, the fat. One thing, if you are having to do a budget like we are, and you don't know if the animal you are getting your food from is a healthy animal. And from the store, that's not always the case. You can't trust that. As we are not able to do right now, you can do away with the fat and get rid of the chemicals. So it's probably just a healthier option, not a foolproof option, but why not? Take the time. Cooking ahead can allow you the chance to do that. The fat rises. Take a spoon. The trash can's right here. Bear with me. I'm not throwing this on the ground. And you can discard toxins that end up in this fat, giving your family the healthiest option you can afford, because you cannot, especially right now, don't go broke. That's not a healthy option, buying the foods you need. So, baby, keep going. I'll have to come and check in a minute. Yes, Okay, well, baby, you got to keep going at it, JC, both sides. Then keep going down. You have a page to do of it, okay?
Oh, you only have to do like...
So let's talk these leftovers. What is gross to you about leftovers, if that's you? Because I want to offer you some healing, time-saving, and delicious foods. So, like spaghetti. Do you just get sick of eating spaghetti over and over and over again? What about taking your spaghetti, and I'll tell you what I'm doing right here, right now. Cook it. Have it as a pot of spaghetti, just the plain regular way. I don't care if you put your sauce in it or not. I'm saying however your family eats spaghetti, eat it. Get back to work, kids.
Can I finish
Then, the next thing I want you to do is take part of it and make a casserole spaghetti type dish. Take it, bake it, add to it. Don't keep it the same flavor. Are you crazy? No. Take it, go get some ricotta, put some extra cheese in it. Take something spicy and add to it. Parsley on top. Flavor it different. Put it in a dish. Throw it in the refrigerator. And tonight, you're good because you got your first thing of spaghetti cooked. The next night, eat it. Don't eat it. Give yourself a break. Have something else the next night, like a really amazing salad. Save some of that salad stuff, and the next night, bake off that really amazing spaghetti that you've added to and made a better spaghetti with. Bake it. Throw your salad with that, and you don't have the whole I've eaten soup for 3 days leftovers. We can make this fun. Come on, come along with me and find your leftovers. So what leftovers are we doing here? Or does this not even consider being leftovers? Leftover meat. Barbecue nachos. There's a restaurant in our town that does barbecue nachos. Now, I don't have the unhealthy cheese that goes on it, but I can tell you, we'll still eat it. We have cheese, but not that weird creamy stuff. Okay. So, the kids love the barbecue nachos, and I'm going to make our version of it. This is a really good, quick, I'm already doing something in the kitchen kind of meal. And I'm going to pull out and shred the cheese. I love cheese from the block so much better. But, let me tell you, since I've got the cheese grater out, I'm going to go ahead and grind up all of it. Bag it. And I don't have any cheese prep to do, which means I only dirty up the cheese grater one time. These are ways my whole time in the kitchen can get utilized. My family can be fed, still be fed, and this kitchen will be cleaned up once. Before I grate up all the cheese, I'm making sure Tyler has lunch cheese. No, that didn't hurt. It's not a knife. So, I can put his lunch cheese in a bag, make his lunches easier to make at night. Trying to make life easier. That's what they did in the old time. They tried to make life easier. They tried to see what they could do. Everything was very seasonal. They made usually their income seasonal. There's been points in life where they didn't make money all throughout the year. So here is my new way of just relating to the past with a little prep on cheese, not much. So what I'm gonna do is my smaller 8-quart Instapot. I'm gonna cook beans in it. The beans are gonna be cooked in the juice from yesterday that I've already skimmed off the fat. This is an old pickle jar, big pickle jar. Ask people for one of these on Facebook. That little lid fits on them. They're good. Even your Pyrex small green one fits on it. I'm going to tell you, if you wanted to make this more nutritional and you're struggling with finances and you need better nutrition, as I should have done, you can actually look up, Wardy Harmon Traditional Cooking School is a good one, but you can look up how to sprout these beans. And then you have a much more nutritional meal to provide your family. I hope to get better at these things to where I can do that and offer you how I accomplish that. But remember, survival is the first thing.
That's a lot of Mama.
Yes, Bubba, it is a lot of them.
So what?
So now I've got this filled fuller than the, like on your Instant Pot, it has a max fill line. It has a halfway line. If you're going to pressure cook it, don't go above that mark. If this had been clean last night, but we used it yesterday to warm our potatoes in, so when we came home, everything was cooked, ready to be eaten because we got home late from basketball. I would have soaked my beans in this, making it where I had even less to clean up. But this works too. So I'm going to add some water to it, to that max fill line. But then I'm going to put it in my Instapot and slow cook it.
What's that?
It is the juice from that butt. I'm trying to get the fat off of it. And then we have this flavorful juice left to be able to add flavor to dishes.
Yeah.
So you can already see the fat line there. If you had like a turkey baster, you could suck up a lot of that. I'm not doing all that. So some things for easy prep are just like doing things like this, putting them in your fridge, spending 5 minutes and 1 spoon to scrape it off. And that works better for me. Get you some gallon pickle jars. You can use them for anything.
Oh, I forgot.
Another benefit to this is you can have like the nasty packaging and stuff taken out of the trash, out of the house all at once. You don't have raw meats in your fridge thawing and things like that, except for a short amount of time. Or if you're able to buy it pre-thawed and come home right and do it, then you don't have to have meat sitting around in your refrigerator, which might make you feel better.
Mama,
Yes.
are we still film?
Yes.
Okay, after.
Thank you.
Hi, viewer. Wait.
So now, don't fill with water, liquid over that line. This is a 10 quart, but the line, oh, it's on the inside. Still shows you the max fill line. I'm only going to go to half with both of these. I'm going to pressure cook them. I'm going to start with 30 minutes. And the reason being not slow cooking in the Instapot for this is because I want all my meats put up at one time. That will save me money. I mean, that will save me time. So I want all my meats cooled and chilled and done at the same time instead of waiting and putting the pork up at one time and putting this up at one time. I want to see if maybe tonight I can get it all put up. Settle down. Okay, so I need to cut down on my dishwasher, which means I need to not have as much to wash. Yes, I'm using just these 10 quarts 2 times now. I hand washed them once, okay? So I can hand wash them again very easy when I'm not cramped for time. So what I'm going to do is not have to put them in the dishwasher. So here's my nachos. I'm going to try to eat them real quick. I have going within just an hour of prep. And I'm not kidding, like maybe not even a full hour of prep. I have beans cooking, and I have them in a flavorful sauce. Now that was from yesterday, which is, or flavorful juice. Then I have 10 pounds of chicken quarters cooking, which is gonna give me flavorful juices. Those juices, what can you use them for? You can use them in sauces and things like that. You can use them cooking your rice and beans and add a layer of flavor to the dish, and doing it ahead of time and doing it all in one day. You can one day skim all the fat off and make it less chemicals in your food. Now, if you have a good, healthy animal that this food has come from, and you know that, what you got to do is use that fat. Don't waste it. Do something with it. Find it good. Think about the health benefits of that and figure it out yourself. I'm not going to go into all that. But, so far the things we've done is going to keep us from doing as much in the kitchen all week, which is going to save us time on cleaning, using our dishwasher, and it's also just going to make room for life. Who doesn't need room for life? You can do things that are enjoyable. So just trying to make this into a modern day thing. Back in the past, they preserved foods. They spent time using time and in season and doing what they had, and making a new twist on it is today we have time. Let's utilize it and free up time in other places. All right, let's utilize the things we have today to benefit us. You look, we're not having to preserve foods, and if that's what you want to strive for, like our family, that's great. I want to use them in season, but if not, let's make your time, use it wisely. You got a fridge, you got a freezer, you've got a means to make things happen. You just have to take a few minutes, hours, whatever. So like, Tyler spent about an hour yesterday prepping the pork. He's extra special like that. He seared it on all sides. He was trying to render off some of the fat. I'm proud he did that. I would not take that extra time. His tastes better than mine. So that was an hour on pork and that whole dinner. But that prep work gave us stuff in the freezer, and it also gave us a meal yesterday, today, and today. So look, that's 3 meals. And he spent 1 hour. The next hour I spent getting things prepped for beans, which is 1 meal, 10 pounds of chicken quarters, which is another meal, and added benefits like the broth. I now have cleaned up the kitchen, loaded the dishwasher. I have a clean sink again, and I'm going to make my sourdough. While I do that, I'm not going to go over how I'm making my sourdough. But while I do that, I'm going to be able to prep for tonight's meal, his lunches, which I've already done some cheese work for that. And I also am going to make spaghetti, which is going to take 2 meals off my plate. So for the next hour, I imagine I'm going to have 3 meals. And we're going to look at like about 4 hours having all this complete and done, and not having to revisit a lot of this mess in the kitchen. Mainly the mess, cleaning the kitchen. This is messy stuff. But you're going to utilize pots over and over again without running them through the dishwasher. A quick clean and refocus, and you're going to have a clean kitchen. So we'll just move on while I make this. If you want to see my just basic sourdough recipe that will be used for Tyler's lunch bread or for dinner rolls, I need the volume down, Dad, get back to work. Or like our hamburger buns for tonight, we're going to just make little buns for our pulled pork. This is what you can watch in our last video where we were cleaning up in the house with the kids. So go watch our last video, and that way you can see how I make my sourdough. So here, 1, 2, 3, let's get back to work. While this is going on, I'm going to start on my spaghetti. I got a 5-pound thing of meat, and cheaper meats shrink up. 1 pound would not do it. We're going to utilize that whole 5 pounds, but we're going to make probably 2 meals out of it. But I can probably think through, we'll have lunch out of those, so possibly 3 meals. So hopefully some of these things are helpful and beneficial to you. I need to get these proofing in the oven so that we can come in and have yummy food. And I'm probably going to try, if I get time, to go ahead and prep cabbage. We like cabbage on our tacos. Just fresh cabbage on these pulled porks will be good. Shred them, chop them, cook them. No, not cooking them, but have them prepped and ready. You can dry them really good, and then you can go forward and put them with maybe a rag or a paper towel. We don't use paper towels on our place. That helps us, one, not have waste, and it's very beneficial on our no spin year. But you can prep it, roll it up in a paper towel, pre-prepped, and put it in your plastic sack, if that's what you have, and you will have fresh cabbage to pull from to cook, eat raw, whatever you prefer. Okay, and so there's a lot of things you can do, and I'm going to start making this more in our videos to benefit you. And so once I do my cabbage today, then I'll go and prep a big old thing of salad. I'll wash up my salad, and that way we have even our veggies prep. I want to work towards the goal of getting my veggies prepped. Oops, wrong. I want to get my veggies prepped after I buy them from the store, and that'll just take organization and stuff that I'm really not at right now. But these are things I'll be working for, and that way my food prep day has all my veggies prepped, ready to go. But now I have some bread that I didn't cook properly that I'm going to make into croutons for things. So I'm going to set that aside on a plate. And I'll cut those up, season those up, and tend to that food. Don't cry over spilled milk. Well, when it comes to bread, don't cry over bread that's just not 100% unless it's burnt crispy, and then I'll help cry with you. Just letting you know. So while my bread is doing that, I'm going to use 1 pot to make spaghetti dishes for at least 2 meals. It is just cheap meat from the store. Still working on the farming stuff. But I am going to cook it in this. That I'll also cook the noodles in. That I'll mix up all the spaghetti base for the recipe, spaghetti-wise. And so this is 3 pounds. I'm sorry, 3 pounds. Why was I saying 5? This is 3 pounds of meat. And once it's cooked, I will strain it in the sink with hot water running to flush all that, not just through my pipes, which we've never had a problem with the fat clogging it, not just through our pipes, but out of the meat. Remember, remove them chemicals when you're tight and on a budget. And the lean was actually the cheaper. But when you're on a budget, do what you can, and there are ways to at least remove some of the unhealthy things from your diet, even though you can't afford to just bypass that altogether. So there's hope. I have 8 minutes while my bread is needing to develop the gluten. So I'm going to chop up this hunk of cabbage, get it washed. Let's see if it can do it in that 8 minutes. get too many things and don't get far away from what you're doing. Our salad stores well for the amount of time we consume it in this. That was 2 heads. Finished. Okay. So that's what we're actually having happen. I got Tyler's loaf ready to proof for bread. And these are our loaves, our buns for tonight. I already have the meat in a container to heat up. I might, if my Instapots are clean, go ahead and have it cooking or warming in there, and that's one less thing to worry about. I always, when I proof my bread, I put olive oil on top of it. So that's what you saw me doing. I just take my hamburger buns, roll them, slap them, and make sure there's just not like a big, huge air hole. I don't think it really would matter. Now take your meat. Be an extra rinse of that warm, getting all those chemicals out by getting the fat out of the meat. Go ahead and just strain your noodles over that. But be careful, you're doing a big pot. Make sure your colander's big enough. Keep that in mind, I've made that mistake. Noodle everywhere. So, didn't even have to strain many of those scalding hot noodles. No noise, screaming.
I wanted to when you went shooting.
Really helpful way. Just to keep drips from going everywhere. Plate underneath it. Thing I thought of, so as I was adding into my smaller container, because instead of having a big container and blah, 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 all that, don't forget, too, you could also just cook the noodles, douse them with an oil, cook the meat, and then you can put the sauce in later and make this a fresher deal. That's whatever you're best at, whatever you want to do, whatever your preference is. You could use a different sauce for that, a different sauce for here, because not everybody puts theirs all in one dish. But I'm just satisfied with survival. So see, and if these were meatballs, for instance, you could also, in your Instapot, cook up a bazillion meatballs. Fill it to the max line, and then freeze a ton of them too. Play around with these things. Live life simply by just prepping for it. All right, I'm food storage. I froze my cabbage by accident last night. Not all of it got froze, but I had it in the back at the top, and that's the colder place. Probably knew that, forgot it. So I'm having to store it. We have right here 2 bags. Getting the last bag froze. It's a big head of cabbage. Yesterday was great. Veggie prep. We got salad prepped and we got cabbage prepped. You can save quite a bit of money by buying it and prepping it yourself. The bag lettuce is expensive. A head of lettuce is way cheaper. And you can keep it as a head and use it if you know you're not going to use, if you want to and you want to cut up one part of the week and one of the other, that's fine. We can save money by not having to go into the store, because just going in for a bag of lettuce is going to cost you more money. But when you're doing any of your prep work, try to not cross-contaminate. Wash your hands really good. I'm doing this first to get it out of the way, because now I'm going into the meat. So I'm making my bags real quick. Bear with me. We're almost done with all this stinking prep work. And then you can either go and be inspired by it, or you can just sit back and relax. But be aware. I can go on to different things after this. Don't you want that too? So, We cooked a total of at least 8 meals. Family together meals or minus Tyler. What did we cook? So with just what's cooked, not stored, and cooked and stored for freezer. We cooked, I just have to say, sorry, real quick, I bought some plastic wrap and the stuff doesn't even cling to itself anymore. I don't know. I know I've always bought the cheap plastic wrap because I don't use it that much. But like, I could unravel all of this. When did plastic wrap become that? Just saying. Okay. So here is, we did at least 8 meals. We did a butt, which fed us just a roast. It was pork, a pork roast. We took that pork roast and then we turned it into what? Let me think. We made our own sourdough buns and we had, you know, like pork buns, pork burgers. Sorry, my brain, I just woke up. Then we ended up doing spaghetti. We've got spaghetti done 2 ways. We've got just regular plain spaghetti, and then we've got baked spaghetti. And I guarantee you one or both of those will make an extra meal. So let's just go ahead and say, good there, that's 4. 5. We also had pork nachos. Then we also cooked beans, and then we've got chicken for tonight. And the beans will actually be used with taco, the chicken. So like we got at least 8 meals because that chicken I accidentally did twice. So we've at least got 8 meals, a week worth of meals with lunch opportunities. What did we prep for the freezer? Let's see. So here's the pork. That's for the freezer. It was about $30. How long did this all take us? Well, I can tell you that buying it was about an hour. The pork prep was about an hour in cooking, you know, with the Instapot as far as our physical labor, our work. So then we have yesterday's work took about 4 hours. So I'm going to say like clean up and all. And then this is not going to take an hour, but I'm going to safely say in about 6 hours, you could do all this as far as your physical actual doing. There's a little prep work to it. And I would even say that's the cleanup, but that's 6 hours and we're going to have benefit from this for 2 weeks. I would have already had my, let me think what goes in here. My tortillas cooked, but what I'm going to do instead, because I was out of masa, I'm going to take those tortillas when I cook them Friday, double batch those and have some tortillas pre-cooked from scratch. So can you cook from scratch? It's cheaper and you can actually control the timing of it and it fills you up longer, better, and you can do it ahead of time and spend more time with your family. So it was 10 pounds of chicken cooked, and then 2 huge butts. The chicken was like 7 something. It was under $8, probably $8 with tax. And then the pork, which was more than 10 pounds and huge, was over $30. But I don't mind that because we are making good use of it. And so I see even added benefits financially from prep cooking like this, batch cooking, because I mean, there's just more time for life and less to clean. I mean, because look, I'm going to run my dishwasher for the last time, and I could hand wash my plates real quick and easy, cups, and not have a care in the world after this point. So I'll show you as soon as I get the chicken done. I'll show you what I put in the freezer, which needs to be cleaned out. It's messy again, so don't judge. Hold on. All right, let's put our chicken in here. Now, one of these chickens will be used tonight. I mean, this week, Friday. But here's 3 bags of chicken. All right, is that in focus? So I'm going to sit them right there. Don't look at the mess. Here is 2 very large bags. I mean, those are large bags of pork. And then I have 3 bags of cabbage in there. So now I have made room in here for our beans and my sourdough to go back into storage. So we have pork left over for another meal, which I could and may make pork tacos. So we'll see. And I have here spaghetti, baked spaghetti. I have a thing of mashed potatoes back there, and that may be what we eat with that. But not to mention, I have a half of a gallon of broth and a whole gallon of chicken broth. And I easily had over a gallon of pork broth. I still have to get the fat off those. So let's see the kitchen. I kind of made it a wreck this morning. And you can see I'm trying to hurry with my time frame. I still have to milk and all that. But a quick little cleanup. And 2 loads in the dishwasher. This will be my 2nd load. And I'm done. All I have to do is wash the things that, and yes, that's a dog. That's for the dog. I gotta wait till she goes outside. I got to wash this, and put that up. Anyway, whatever. But like just shutting some cabinets, taking the trash out like that, chicken parts and stuff. And then I can sit over there by my fire, milk my cow, homeschool my children, and go 90 to nothing, whatever direction I need to or want. Bard Acres Farm. Keep watching. We will definitely have more on this simple lifestyle and how to achieve it.